It was quite an experience. I was a thin kid once, but always had a full derriere butt. There's no other way to put it. And the first thing he asked me was, "What's that thing following you around?" I had no idea what to make of it. From then on, it was quite a ride being around Miltie. You never knew what was going to come out of his mouth, right? You definitely didn't want to bump into Miltie on a bad hair day. One really funny story comes to mind, which sums up how much we all had to watch out what we had to say. Another good friend of ours just gave birth to a baby boy. He is now a very nice-looking young man, but as a newborn, he was extremely large for his age. Huge,
He was
actually.
fat.
Well, this friend came to visit the Dubrov house. And when the baby was in the car, in their car seat, Lois and I went to talk to her. So Miltie came out of the house, and he started to walk over to the car, and Lois and I looked at each other very nervously and thought that it might not be such a good idea if we saw the baby. We were right. Miltie took one look at the baby, and he screamed, "Holy mackerel! That is one fat baby." Okay? Miltie truly never disappointed you. He was predictable. Through the years, it has been my pleasure to be a part of the Dubrov clan. I always relished being known as the fourth daughter. Being the fourth daughter, I went down to Florida one summer and spent time with Miltie and Sylvia. Most of all, I loved hearing Milton's fascinating stories, which were more entertaining than going to the movies. Although Miltie always found a way to say something embarrassing, it was always done with that mischievous twinkle in his eyes. He got more of a kick out of teasing you than anything else. And whatever he said, it was always with love. Truthfully, it was an insult if he didn't tease you. Most of all, it was amazing because he always got away with it, with everybody. Miltie, Dad, you are truly amazing, turning 90 years old and looking like a 75-year-old. You are the most generous, kind, and loving person I have ever been able to see through that tough exterior. I have been privileged to be in your life, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you've done.
Thank you.
Love you.
For our neighbors. And they shook up the whole neighborhood, I can tell you, because they had people there all the time. There was always something going on. We miss him terribly. I've been so lonely since you left. You have no idea what you're into. He was the best. That's all I can say to all of this family.
That's all.
He is.
Neighborhood, as Betty said, and I had not had the pleasure of meeting Milt yet. Finally, we met, and the first thing he said to me was, "Who did I like in the third race?" But we shared a lot of good times together, and just as Betty said, we really miss you, Milt. And Sylvia.
Okay, this could get pretty much ugly, but
That's good.
Milton, I understand when you started in business, you bought concentrated car wash from Philadelphia, drove back to Baltimore, cut it with 28 to 30 points water, and resold it.
Sounds like a lie to me.
Way before my time in the industry, but I first met Milton as a customer. Milton sold to the guy that I worked for who couldn't pay his bills. And Uncle Miltie, as we referred to him, used to come in. He would call before he came in and say, "Is the owner of the business in?" It's like, "Yeah, he's here today, Milton." And as we moved forward, I left that company and went to work for a manufacturer and sold to Milton. And that was pretty exciting, except the toughest guy I've ever sold to in my life. A few years later, the company that Milton owned, he sold to somebody else, and I went to work for, and Milton worked for me. Toughest guy I ever worked for in my life. Eddie was also a customer of mine in the beginning when I drove a truck for the warehouse. And Eddie, unlike me, learned the game of golf. So I'll let Eddie talk about the golf game with Milton.
Actually, let me go back a little bit. When I was 20, let's see, that was 15 years ago? Okay, 15 years ago.
10 or 15.
Milton used to call on me. I had 10 auto parts stores. Learned a lot from him. Learned to really love the guy. When I was 30, I decided I was going to take up golf. So Milton, at the time, he's like, you know, you like golf now? He says, why don't you come over to Baltimore? We'll go to Bonneview. We'll play golf. So I go over there. First time he ever saw me play. I get on the first tee. I think about the third shot, he goes, you want to take another one? I'm like, oh, I'll take another one. So as time progressed, probably 5 years after that, I became an avid golfer. Your fault, definitely your fault. And we would go to Bonneview, and at that point, he would set up matches. Well, Milt's no dummy. He's going to set up matches. I think there's 2 of them right here we used to play with. And I don't know what the bet was, but I think normally we would probably take a little bit of money off of them. But we had a great time. Used to go there and have lunch with yourself and Sylvia. Then we go play golf, have a couple pops afterwards. I'll never forget it.
What I used to tell you about hitting the ball,
Hitting the ball and drag Ed. I'm so sick of that saying. But I still remember it. I remember when this used to be a popular club.
And to put it in perspective, Milton and Mark had a different rule, and our rule was a 3 dummy rule. Milton, if you call me dummy 3 times in any conversation, I'm going to hang up. I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Click. Well, Milton, it's helped my career more, and I'll say this, knowing you and what I've learned from you moving forward, my relationship with your son-in-law Will, my relationship with Eddie, thank you. God bless you.
Tomorrow's Monday, starts a new week, I expect it to work.
Somebody who's such a great person like you. I have to tell everyone, I first met Miltie in 1971. I walked on the tee and I said, my name's Jackie Brown, and he said, well, I'm Milt Dubrov. And I said, hi, Mr. Dubrov, because he was so much older than myself. But not a hair out of place. Absolutely perfect.
Jackie, all his own too. All his own.
And I have to tell you something. I knew I had a tough time to beat this guy for the first championship, right? First, whatever it is.
The Calcutta?
Because my father's name was Milton, and I never wanted anything against him. So we teed off. We came into the 18th hole. I'd never met this man before, and it was a par 4. And he made a 5, which was special for you. Usually I had double and triple bogeys. And I had an 8-foot putt to make a par. And like a dummy, I made the par. He walked over to me and he says, and this is the first time I ever met this guy. And he says, listen, schmuck. That's like such a special name for me. He says, I'll see you on your first tee next week. Nobody beats me twice. And that's the truth. I saw him for 4 decades, 40 years. And I often think, wow, how about if I didn't make that putt? That would have been really been a tremendous loss. Tremendous loss. So that's a special story for me. But I have to give one more story. Years later, in a team match, 9 holes, I beat him for $5. He says, well, come on in and let's play gin rummy. Uh-oh, I don't know. I heard about Milt Dubrov playing gin rummy. I didn't like that too much, but I figured, wow, I'm on a high. I beat him in golf, and now I'm going to play gin rummy. So I go inside and I play him gin rummy. In 1 hour, I lost $30 and a dozen golf balls. Nobody ever beats this man twice in a row, ever. And it's the best putt I ever made in my life. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
As far
far as my association with Milton, I didn't know him from Adam. When I joined Bonneview, I came from another club. And I got into a foursome with Jackie and a fellow who passed away, and Milton, and it was a foursome. And we played 18 holes. We split every 9 holes. We stopped for lunch and played another 9 holes. We spent 50 cents a person, and it was a big deal. It went on for years. Anyhow, after the 18 holes, Milton disappeared. Just gone. I used to look around the other 3 guys and said, what happened to Milton? Oh, he's going to play gin. He had 2 pigeons waiting for him to play gin. Just waiting there for him to lose their money. And he said, I don't have to worry about losing money playing golf. I'll make a fortune playing gin. Which he did. These pigeons couldn't wait for him to come back. The only story I can tell you, I never associated with him socially, Milton, other than play golf. One of the things I did after golf, he joined Suburban. After golf, we sit down in the lunchroom and have lunch. And the waiter there, he ordered a hot dog a certain way, the only way he wanted it. It was so famous that we called it the Dubrov dog. And anytime you wanted a hot dog made that particular way, you told the waiter, I want a Dubrov dog. And that was the only claim to fame that I know of. Happy birthday, Milton.